welcome to Kindred Women. I have with me today Ashley Diette, and we are going to just talk about lots of different things, right? So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to them?
Man, that's hard. You know why? 'Cause I could say so many things.
I know.
But to connect with women and just to give you an idea of my life, I'm a mom of 5 boys.
Yes.
Super fun, right? I don't get in dresses very often.
Yeah.
And my husband and I run a business from home, so we work from home. And I also have a podcast. I guess I just do lots of things that I love, just wherever God's leading me. And we live on some land, so we have lots of animals.
Yes.
My husband's basically
Chickies.
a farmer.
Yeah.
And just for us, it's always a journey of looking at what we're doing in our life and just pivoting when we need to make a change. So
Yeah, that's
changes
great.
a lot.
It is, yeah. So she and I have kind of talked, and she said that you love to lead women into kind of getting into their dreams. So
Yes.
why don't you kind of share like where that stemmed from? You know, kind of why do you feel like that's something that God's given you to do?
So with women, I think a lot of times we wrap our identity and our positions in what we are currently in. Like I'm a mom. Like even when I introduce myself, it's so interesting because I just didn't think about introducing myself.
Right.
I really would never say that first.
Yeah.
I usually would have like, I'm a mom of 5 boys.
Right.
But women with identity, we wrap it in our careers, our husbands, and our kids. And we don't really walk into the purpose God has for us specifically because I'm not the only mother in the world.
Right, yeah.
You know, I'm not. Lots of us are moms and such a blessing, but that's not my only job on earth.
Right.
So I think that for me became really confusing. I used to be a teacher, and when I started working from home, and it was really interesting because I felt the need to describe myself as like a stay-at-home mom.
Right, yeah.
But I wasn't. But I felt like this pull on let's figure out how to walk into this and how to help other people really feel like they're allowed to have a purpose and a dream that's just theirs.
Yeah,
like it's just theirs.
Yep.
It's not even, I mean, honestly, for most people, it's not the couples. It's
Right.
not you and your husband together.
Yep.
You know, you can be in agreement, but it's not usually a shared dream.
Yeah.
And it's also not someone else's that they gave you, right?
That's true. That's
Like,
true.
I can present lots of times what I think I should be doing to someone else, and a lot of times if they're not okay with where they are, they're like, yeah, I want to do that too. Like, that
Yeah,
sounds good.
yeah.
Yeah, like that's awesome. Like you run this YouTube, channel. Like
I want to do that too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so just that kind of progression of now I feel like what I get to do, in both aspects, like as a professional career and honestly just with women, leading women in small groups, mentoring women, leading business groups, I get to sit with them and just say like, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Literally.
That's good. What would you do?
I know, and I want you to write that down. What would you do if you weren't afraid?
Man.
And then what would you do for free?
Yeah, that's good.
Because the things that you'll do for free, if you are looking to even create income, you can do that. And like we don't get asked that question in our culture.
No.
We get asked
I don't think anybody's ever asked me that.
Oh. Well, this is
I'm
going
like,
to be fun. I want to ask you back a question. But it's just that kind of, to me, it just lights me on fire because I get to see like the end result. It's not the end of their life, but the end result is like, you know, a month later, 6 months later, a year later, you're like, oh,
absolutely.
I could see that in you, but you couldn't see that in me. And me telling you, you know, you'll be great at anything. It doesn't matter as much as when you get to tell yourself.
Yeah. And you know what's really cool is Ashley was actually one of the women that I was able to pray with. She was able to pray with me when I was trying to figure out what my purpose and my identity was. So it's really cool because I didn't really think of that, but I mean, that was last January.
Yeah, it was.
And so now we fast forward to a year and a half later, and this is where we both are together. And I probably would have not thought that, you know? So it's just really cool because to me, it shows, yes, like you absolutely are walking in what God is telling you to do. And you could see and feel that there was something more too for me, and you helped pray and push me to that. So I really appreciate that because...
Well, I still see that.
Well, thank you.
I mean, I do, because right now, let's think about, I don't know, hundreds of women watching, maybe thousands of women.
Right.
Well, maybe one day it's going to be 100,000 that watch every single week.
Ooh,
and maybe it's not this. Maybe it's what you're doing next.
Yeah.
But the dream of Kindred Women being planted in your heart, like you got to have people to nourish it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know for me, I can have things that I think I'm supposed to do. When I'm walking in them, if I feel like, man, if I feel like it's going rough, I'm like, nobody cares. Nobody's watching. Like,
right.
I can sink in that.
Yep.
And I'm like, no. And it might sound cheesy, but like, we really do, on paper, say we're doing things for an audience of one.
Yes, right.
But how we actually feel.
Yeah.
And our actions usually reflect that we want approval.
Yep.
And it's just that fight, I think, is really hard too.
Yeah, it can be, for sure.
That I'm like, measuring, you know what I mean? When you're like, okay, so I'm walking this thing, and someone's like, okay, so what does that look like? And you're like, it's good, like it's happening, like I'm doing it,
right?
I'm doing this thing.
Yeah.
But then measuring it, I think, is just always having that heart check of like, is this still where God has me?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because if He still has me here, then whatever they're saying out there, or not saying. Usually for me, I feel like it's not saying.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say people pleasing as much as approval seeker. Like,
and I think that I didn't used to really think that, but I think I probably do fall into that, where the approval, and I try not to, because we've talked about this before, just, you know, even with Kindred Women, with your podcast, like sometimes we don't get the feedback.
Right.
And it's not like we really truly need people being like, you are doing so awesome. But every now and then it's nice to have people just reaching out and saying how it's touched them or changed them, you know, and sometimes we don't get that, you know.
Right.
So we have to know that our identity, if we truly are doing what God is saying, it shouldn't matter, you know, how many people like or comment or give you feedback, you know. But it's hard.
It's
sometimes
so hard.
We want that feedback.
Right, and it's hard, I mean, in all aspects as a parent. So like our purpose, again, going back to that, and I'm sorry, I'm probably like rocking someone's world saying that.
Yeah.
But your purpose your purpose is not raising kids.
Right.
Your kids will be raised. Like they will be, like it's going to happen. Even if you do a really bad job,
Right.
they're going to get older.
Yeah.
And so I think that is like, if all your weight is on like what you're feeding your kids and what you're doing, right, like that is not the freedom God gave us.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, He doesn't look at us and be like, oh, your kids didn't eat greens today. Like,
right?
He's good.
Yeah.
He's good. Did you love them? Like, did you pray with it? Like, and I mean, still not judging that, but I just mean, it's just an interesting thing of like, we just have to be so sure of our identity and what those bigger dreams are. And some people, it might be scary. Like,
for sure.
Just to be small. Some, you know, if you're out there and you've never thought about that before, then maybe for you, it's like, where would my life be in a year from now if I did that one thing different? Like maybe I took that college class.
Right.
Maybe I did a Facebook Live. Maybe I joined that, you know, women's Bible study. Maybe I just did that one thing, and that's all you can see.
Yeah.
And then some of y'all, I mean, for me, I like big. I like, you know, every day I say it's something I want to do is we want to give away $1 million a month.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna happen.
Right. Come on. Yeah.
And I mean, it sounds crazy, but I'm like, it's gonna happen. Have we ever made $1 million a month? No. But I mean, it will.
And that is, I feel like you didn't start having that huge dream. You know what I mean? But you have seen where God has brought you. You've seen where He has answered the prayers. You've seen where the dream has come to pass and the dreams that He has put into you, and they have happened. So then you have that faith and the trust to know, okay, this is what He gave me before, and I'm going to ask for even more, you know? That's good. So when you're kind of helping a woman, you know, if you're sitting down with somebody and you're wanting to help them get to a dream, what do you tell them? What do you do?
Ask so many questions.
Okay.
So open-ended questions are probably what we're all really bad at.
Yeah.
Because we're like, how are you? Like that's not actually open-ended.
Right.
Because there's a definitive answer. Or you know what we usually ask? Like, what would you like to do? That's my favorite. And don't act like you've never done it.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, so you're looking, and I mean, usually for me, it usually comes with people not liking their current job or women that feel stuck.
Right.
So a lot of times I will be around women that are like, I feel trapped in my life.
Yeah.
And not that their life is bad.
Right.
They just feel trapped.
Yeah.
And so I ask those questions like, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And sometimes their answers literally are like, I would leave my house with my kids. Or I would quit my job. Or they're all just different, but like, that's that question.
Yeah.
And then what would you do for free? And that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times people are like, they're an engineer, and you're like, what would you do for free? And they're like, I would coach kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, awesome. Okay.
Right.
So it's not like you're going to quit your job and coach kids.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, okay, do you do that now?
Mm-hmm.
And they're usually like, no, I don't. I'm like, why don't you do it now?
Yeah.
So then it's like sitting down and being like, drilling down on like, whatever we would like to do, we can do it now.
Mm-hmm.
It just might look a little different.
Right, yeah.
So that, and then I always have people make small goals of like,
Okay.
how could that be different in 3 months?
Mm-hmm.
And so most of us overestimate what we can do in 3 months
Yeah.
and underestimate what we can do in a year.
Hmm.
We say, well, 3 months from now, like body image things.
Mm-hmm.
3 months from now, I'm going to lose 15 pounds. By the end of the year, I'll lose 20. And you're like,
Right.
that's what women say. Like, that's just
Yeah,
how we,
yeah.
and it doesn't actually make sense because what happens is they stress themselves out so much in 3 months.
Yeah.
They don't actually keep with their goals after
Right,
that.
right.
So lots of just really drilling down on like, what about this quarter? I like work a lot in quarters of the year.
Okay, yeah.
Seasons.
That's good.
So if you have a dream of doing personal development, I'm like, what book could you read in this quarter? That will change you.
That's good.
About next quarter.
Yeah.
Like, let's order them on Amazon now, and then this year you have these 4 books.
Right, and you have them ready,
They're
prepared.
ready.
Yep. That's
And
good.
you already spent the money, you already invest in yourself. Because the whole thing is when we're trying to get ourselves to reprogram our brain, to actually look outside of the 4 walls of our home, or our car, or our cubicle, wherever we are, we have to start giving ourselves more of not the world as in living in the world,
Right, yeah.
but more of the exposure to like, okay, I need to probably listen to different things and read different things, and I probably need to like actually journal.
Right.
So I do a journaling exercise. It's kind of my favorite, and it sounds super simple, but if you do it every day, you'll be like, oh, it's changing my life.
Yeah.
At the top of the page, you write your stress number
Okay.
and your passion number.
Yeah.
So like the passion number is like, some mornings I'm like, yes, world, like let's do it.
Let's go.
Like, God, I give you today. You know, I'm like pumped. Like, God, I give you today. It's gonna be great. Whatever you want to do through me, I am there.
Right.
And some days I'm like, why?
I just want to go back to bed.
Or getting back to that, or I think about something that happened. I have some guilt,
Yeah.
shame.
Yep.
I can feel like I don't actually want to do the stuff I have on my plate that day, and it just starts my day very differently.
Yeah.
Just starts my day because that's the first thought. This is before you even take an action, right?
Yeah.
So I like to have people write down, like by your bed, write those things down in the morning. Like, how stressed are you? Is the other one of like, I wake up sometimes and I'm like, why are you anxious, Ashley?
Right. Yeah.
Like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And so I need to know that. So I can just have it on there so I can be like, okay, let's do a check. Because what I need to do today might be different.
Right.
I might need to play a worship song. I might need to probably maybe not read my Bible and journal if I'm real stressed right away.
Yeah.
So I probably need to clear. I need to like clear.
I agree.
And so I write to those 2 numbers down, and then I use this phrase, and it might sound weird at first, but it's just in practice. I always do, wouldn't it be cool if?
Okay.
And you write something down.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if my husband and I didn't argue today?
Yes.
Then you write, or something even better.
Okay.
And you get your head to start thinking what that means.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if
Okay.
today my kids actually ate 3 meals that I made?
Yes.
Or something even better. And it trains your head to think about like, well, what is something better? Well, something better than that is, what if I taught my son to make this meal with me? That's a small better, but think about with your marriage, it could be, wouldn't it be cool if we didn't argue today? Or something even better is, what if we sat together, for 2 hours and we planned out a trip together?
Yeah.
Or like whatever. So it really trains you to start thinking.
It does.
I love
like
it.
that. Me
I do
too.
too.
I'm gonna have to do
I
that.
mean, it's been like a year and I've been doing it, but
Yeah.
I've taught some women to do this, and it's like just that. And then if you still can be in it to win it, like if you're still like, I can do more. I love, and I don't do 10 of them.
Yeah.
Lots of people are like, let's write down. I mean, that's a philosophy of like, let's write down 10 things that we believe to be true that aren't yet. And that's a positive. Like, what that means is like, I write down on there a lot just because with Young Living, like I'll write down, I am a royal crown diamond.
Yeah.
I'm not yet,
Right.
but I am. I believe that I am. So I'll write down, I am a patient. Like patient. I am a patient and caring mother.
Yes.
But like those statements, I mean, it varies.
Yeah.
But I don't make myself write down 10.
Right.
But I do write down a few of whatever my focus is for the day. I write down a few, and then I always write down my 3 things that I want to get done.
Yeah.
And some of y'all might be list makers, but here's the deal. That list that you have with 20 things will cause you so much anxiety.
Right.
Because you're not going to get them done.
Right. Yeah,
Or you're writing down
so
stuff
true.
like make a grocery list.
Yes.
Like don't write down that.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Make lunch. Like you make lunch every day. Like you don't need to write it on a list. And don't anyone, again, get mad at me. But I've just found with a lot of women, we like the busyness and like the purpose leaches out of that because we didn't give ourselves space.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be one of those people that I don't feel like I loved the busy, but I was okay with just kind of running around. And then when I had kids, it became stressful, you know? Yeah. And then it was like, how can I fulfill my purpose if I'm running around frantic all the time?
Oh,
you know?
It's so hard.
Yeah.
I like to be. I mean, I'm like an overscheduler. I'm really not. But it's interesting because I feel like we all have a different pace.
Yeah.
In which we're walking.
Yeah.
And my pace might not be yours.
Right. Yeah.
But here's the thing: as long as I stay in my pace,
exactly,
and run my race like the way that I know I'm supposed to, then I can't. Each of us women can't worry about.
Right. Exactly.
And for me, with being busy and just running your own race, I also find the focus thing, instead of writing down a list of everything you want to do, then at the end of the day, you're measuring yourself against your priorities and not to-dos.
Right.
So you don't need to look and be like, I did these things today. Because if those things that you did don't actually matter, like reorganizing your Tupperware pantry, maybe it's like, maybe you're someone who loves your work, but the stuff you put on there is like, schedule a meeting to meet with, it doesn't, it's not big things.
Right.
So I always write down the 3 priorities for my day.
Okay.
So like today, I mean, I just think it's easy to think today. So I only had 3 things to write down, even though I have a bunch of things I want to do.
Right.
But I wrote down this interview, graduation, which is obviously huge with our oldest. Yeah. And then I wrote down I have our first training call for a summer program I do tonight.
Okay.
But there's hours of time between those last 2, but I'm not gonna, I can't write down other things because I know what I have to do.
Yeah, that's
And most of us do. Like, most of us know. You know where we're headed.
Right.
We don't always know how to get there. But just making sure I do that, it keeps me in check. Yeah, so if it's a day I'm working more, then that I should have work things on those 3. If it's a day like I'm going to the beach on Monday with my kids, so those 3 things are going to be beach is one of them. Another one of them is going to be like dinner because we're all going to be together, and it is going to be a big deal because we don't have an activity. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. That night, but most nights it won't say dinner.
Right. Exactly.
But it will be because that day is going to be focused on family.
Yeah, I like that because I am a list maker.
Yeah.
And so my planner's sitting over there, and I think what?
I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah. And I, for a while, was putting in on my to-do section.
Everything.
Well, not everything, but some of the stuff I do every day, like you're saying, like writing in laundry, and then today I'm gonna dust. But do I actually do it? Like, that was my thing. First off, it's something that really, what, is it a priority, or even is it making a difference? And I think that's what I like what you're saying, because we don't need to just have to-dos so we can feel better about ourselves because we're crossing them off, you know? Like, if we have really good things, like even for me, sometimes I pray when I get up in the morning, if I know I'm going to go to Target to get something, or if I know I'm going to the grocery store, or if I know that somebody's coming to the house to bring something, God, how can I impact them? What can I do for them? How can I pray for them? Things like that. And that can be something on your list. Things that are going to mean something.
Change lives.
Instead of, let me put laundry on my list, and I know I'm already doing
Somebody
that
out
today.
there is like, I put laundry on my list every day. Well, which is fine.
Right, yes. Yeah, it's totally okay.
It's just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that, if we pray and ask what we're supposed to do that day, of course we have things we already have to do.
Right.
But my priorities change a lot.
Yes.
I have time freedom. I mean, I will say thank you. I'm so thankful. Yeah. But sometimes, I am so happy that I had these things that I wanted to do, but I had 24 hours instead of every hour freaking out if I didn't get something done. Because then if God wanted me to spend, I spent 2.5 hours with someone yesterday that I thought would be about 45 minutes, but it was okay.
Yeah.
Like, my husband got home from where he was outside with our kids, it was fine.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting thing because I find that when we write down all of those things, that whole kind of journaling process, then we usually feel a lot better about it. It kind of releases our anxiety.
Yeah,
because we're like, okay. And for me, I am better at doing that and then getting myself ready to like get, you know, I do run a lot of mornings. I won't say every morning this is like exactly how I do it. Yeah. But if I'm gonna try before my kids get up to like be in the Word, I need to do that first, or I'm like, all right. I mean, I don't know if anybody else does this, but I'm like, yep, let's see how much we can read. We're gonna pull it out, and like, especially if I'm on my phone, especially if I don't have my actual paper stack of things. No one else has that. I have like a stack that's like a Bible, a Passion Bible, a journal, and sometimes it actually doesn't get opened. Yes, the whole day it gets moved. And then I'll like even put it in the car with me. I'll like go to a kids practice and I'm like, it's happening now.
And then does it happen?
No, because there's sometimes, but there's a person usually.
Right. Yeah.
That requires much more immediate attention than they should.
And if we can prepare, and I don't do this all the time either, but that time is meant to pour into them sometimes, you know. And if we take the time in the morning to prepare and to ask God to prepare me for the meetings that I'm going to have with people, because you know, like yesterday I had somebody come to the house. We have ants so bad, and I'm so tired of them. Like
God made them too.
I literally whine to this dude, and he's come to our house lots of times. So like we know each other, and he's an older gentleman, but he's so nice. And so we're talking about his grandkids and stuff like that. And I just sat there and thought, you know, if I was so busy worried about what my house looked like while this man was standing here, I wouldn't be able to have this connection. I wouldn't be able to actually talk with him and, you know, ask him how he's doing, because I would be so worried about something else. That's meaningless,
and
you know?
Something, I don't know if this fits in, I just was thinking about when you were talking about other people. I have just learned from women that are wise, and I'm saying that in general because it's not just one person, it's several. That with our friends, if you don't know your friends' dreams, like if you don't know what they long-term are like,
ready to do,
and like chasing after, like they're like, this is what I want to be doing, and I again do not mean a job or a position, but like this is the platform I think God's going to use me in, or like this is the, you know, this is like the path He has me on, and this is where I see it. Then like, are they really your friends? Because small talk about like on your way to work or your way to the gym with your friends, like where is it bringing you?
Yeah, that's good.
It's just, so for me, I always want to be in a constant like. It's helpful for me. Like today, I had, you know, 2 friends I texted about today. I'm like, y'all need to pray for me before I do this interview, because I know that part of what I am supposed to be doing is speaking and reaching people, but I don't always know how that's going to look. You know, and so I need those specific 2 people. I need them to always be like, okay, yes, here's specifically what I'm praying. Here's specifically what's going on.
It's definitely good to have those people, the women, you know, to come and to know your dream and to help get you there, you know, because that's what it's about. And
them just keeping us accountable. Because I just love when you tell someone, you're like, hey, you know, I really, really think I am supposed to be, I need a good example. I'm trying to use an example that's not me. I really, really think I am supposed to be, let's just say, leading a women's group at my workplace. It's a great one, because that's one that I'll hear people say. Here's the deal. So it's been 4 months. You told your friend this. Has your friend should act like they should
ask. So have you done it?
Or not even that, but hey, you know, Amanda, I know that you really think God's leading you to lead in this capacity. What actions are you doing right now?
Yeah, that's good.
Like, how are you cultivating that? Like, maybe you're not ready to launch it, but like, what are you doing? And that for me is huge, because it develops so much of a deeper level of trust. And also when you can share with them, like, I just want you to know, I don't know why, but I think that I'm supposed to go to, you know, whatever random country on a mission trip. Say that's a dream in your heart. You need to tell your friends, because you want them to foster that dream.
Mine is Israel, so you know that now.
But it's good. Because the whole thing is, you can say that, and 10 years from now, if you haven't put $1 aside to do that, you're not doing it. Like it literally is like the men who dream, and it's a quote. So as let's say woman that dream while they're sleeping, they're not dangerous. Because they're taking no action.
That's good.
It's the people that dream while they're awake that get to walk out and truly see. They see how God can use them.
Yeah, that's good. So Do you ever have like a specific Bible passage or scripture or anything that's kind of your favorite to share with women?
I mean, it's interesting because I would say no.
It's probably different. I
feel like,
I was thinking that.
I actually like looked through some messages I send to people, and it's always for them, like specific. Yeah. But just a simple. I mean, it's just Matthew 5:16, simple. Let your light shine. So simple. But a lot of times women pretend that we commit scripture to heart. Like we do. We're like, yes, I'm memorizing every verse this week, and I'm going to use a note card for it. I'm going to look at everything. But we don't really do that.
Right.
As a whole, I'm sure some women do. But I find that I get so wrapped up in what memory verses my kids have that I'm like, that's what I'm memorizing.
Right. Yeah.
And it wasn't for me necessarily. But I just think about little chunks that women can take with them. And so for me, talking about being a light,
that's good.
which is so simple, but I want people to believe that about themselves. Because even on days I don't feel I feel dim, I know God made me light. And I know that I am going to be used everywhere I am to shine His light. So I better smile. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding, actually. I mean, I want to be, because the joy, I don't want it to come from my circumstances. I want it to come from what's inside. So just, that's a simple verse that I do use a lot, especially with people that are newer to Scripture. And then I use the passage from Hebrews 12 a lot, talking about running your race, what we need to strip off, and how we need to truly walk out.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but I know it's not super concise.
No, but I think that the thing that I like about that though is you can't, originally when I was thinking of that question, I was like, oh, there's got to be something that she would just probably share with everybody. But really, if everybody's having a different dream, it kind of would be like how that might not really fit with everybody's dream, So I think that those are two amazing passages because, we do need to know that whatever we're doing, our light is going to shine if we remember that, like, we are meant to be light.
Yes.
So I love that. So how do you feel like all of what you're talking about, how has this kind of impacted your life? How have you seen it happen in your life?
So we had one thing that just was amazing, but I knew when I started again working from home and having time. I mean, working at your house, even though I do lots of education for women and all kinds of health things, I still found that I was like having my kids on the floor playing. It was crazy. And I just really during that time was finally able to be part of women's groups during the day, which please, if you work a full-time traditional scheduled job, I love and appreciate you. Yes. Do not think this is not for you. But for me, I had longed to be able to do that. So I did that, and I really just found myself being like, okay, well, how can I be used? How can I serve? And I was writing stuff down like, God, you must have something for me outside of this business I'm growing. Like, there must be something different. And He gave me a baby. Literally. Right. Like, I did not want another baby. There was no baby written down, but the openness to being like, God, I have some part of me that knows you have something big for me. And so that was when I was not writing down specifics. It was more of a like openness to Him. So we knew we were supposed to say yes to this baby that didn't have anybody to go outside the hospital. And we thought we'd have him for a week. We've had him now. It's been 4.5 years. It's awesome. But that was a big way for me to be just in a position of really of surrender to God and of obedience. I'm like, because I asked Him, whatever you have for me, show me. And I was like, oh, that's different. It's not like serving in kids.
Right,
And then I did every single day for 2 years, write down like, my husband has pretty severe PTSD. I wanted him to be able to get out of the military and have time freedom. And for us, we just, we were faithful in trusting God, but we were also responsible in that He didn't just like get out. We were going to wait till we were at a certain point with our income, and then it would take him a year. So I wrote that down every day. Like, please help. Please help us to see the path You have for this new life for him. Please help us. And so what I want to share, just to encourage some of y'all that are like, oh, I had a dream and then I realized it was hard. So he retired. I didn't have anything written down after that.
Okay.
Like, I didn't have a goal or a vision for what we would look like being together. So it's been hard. It's been so hard that I'm like, oh. So the lesson and then what I've seen just come true in my life just really come to fruition is that God gives us dreams, but we have to do the work.
Right. Yep.
And so the work for me is usually the back end of, you know, I'm at this mountaintop moment, but there's going to be another valley.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those valley moments, that's when we really get that work done of like, what's our purpose? Why am I here?
Yeah.
And where am I headed? Because I can see in front of me that next mountain, but I'm going to have to climb it.
Right.
And then I know when I'm on the mountaintop, I'm going to have all these people around me cheering for me. But we're going to be going back down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I need to know like where I'm headed when I go back down, where my focus on, I mean, where my focus is, because we all know what we focus on, we always get more of, and it's where we go.
Yeah.
And so just see those two big life events where I just didn't really know what one was going to look like. And then the other one, I don't know what I had because I just had it like written.
Right. Yep.
I was like, help him retire. But there was
So since then, have you started writing down something? Okay. Yeah. That's good.
And brain specifically that like when you get someone to end something, it has to be replaced with something.
Right. Yep. Yeah, that's good.
It has to be because it's for us, like if you're praying, maybe you're in a job or a circumstance or in a relationship, and I mean a friendship, maybe it's a dating relationship and you're not sure if that's the person to marry, wherever you are, if you're praying for God to show you a pathway out of it, there's going to be something else.
Yep.
So have a vision for what that looks like.
Yeah, that's good.
And painting that. So I hope that back end thinking is a little bit helpful for people, but I always say like painting the picture of what you want it to look like and then working your way backwards is way more helpful than like I want to own a boat. Well, what's it used for?
Right.
Like who's on it? Where is it?
Yeah, that's
where
good.
do you put it out of?
Yeah.
Because that matters all way more.
Yeah, and I like just the detail in that because we could, like you're saying, we could easily say, well, I want a boat. And then you don't get the boat because you don't work towards getting the boat. You don't save money for the boat. You don't picture who's going to be on it. You don't picture what you're going to be doing. Are you going to be fishing? Or are you going to be boating and like tubing? Because those are two different types of boats.
Right.
Okay.
Does it include your kids?
Right.
Or not? Because that's also a very different vision for your family.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's it's easy with tangible things. It was to say it, but it's like the intangible things that we also want to make sure we're like.
Well, it's good. I like what you're saying too, because even for me with Kindred Women, when I originally started, I felt like I was at this high point. And I'm not saying that like I'm in this valley with it right now, but I'm not where I was in the very beginning. So it's good to kind of even just hear this for a little refreshment for me, because I need to keep going and keep dreaming and keep planning, because I kind of haven't really been doing that. So thank you.
We all need a girl. We all need it.
Yeah. So this was good.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on and chatting. And I know that you girls and women are going to get just so much encouragement and to help you plan for your dream and to just make it happen and go after it. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.